Islamic world, just like it was in communism, just like it is now. It is everybody is not the same. You see, there are loads of good people out there, but I believe when you're doing something professionally and you have a family to feed, you deserve the payment that you get.
Oh, definitely.
But at the same time, I believe in earning it. I believe in earning it fair and square. I believe in the fact that it should be backed up by the truth. Anybody can lie, cheat, and steal, and then make money, but then there is no ethic, weight behind it. So it doesn't really have anything to do with commercialism. I think commercialism is a good thing. I think it's a good thing that people can have a choice today. So I think it's a good thing.
I guess so, but look at it this way. You have 3 different TV channels, say, they're private TV channels. They make their money. They only make as much money as they earn, meaning how popular they are. And that's called competition. And that leads to sensationalism. The breaking news culture kitta hamare media mein बढ़ गया है. Breaking news, this happened, that happened. I don't remember ये कराची में या लाहौर में petrol station पे पता नहीं आग लग गई and everything. And then when someone actually went there, पता चला कि it was just a small fire, 2 minute में बुझा दी गई थी. And it was just this whole sensationalism in the media. That's because of private companies competing against each other. That's what I mean. Obviously, if I had to choose...
Well, you see, there's another aspect to it. The fact is that when this entire media quote-unquote revolution came in Pakistan, most of the people inside the industry were untrained for this. They weren't ready for this. So you have the same people who used to write columns or used to report for PTV now sitting in news channels, private news channels, and the work that is being demanded from them is something that they had never done. So it'll take some time before a certain section of the media matures. But then again, there are people with their own agendas, and that's the way it is throughout the world. I see lots of nonsense on BBC, CNN all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So you see, it's going to be like this for as long as we live. You'll have good people, you'll have bad people. But I think commercialism, I think it's a good thing. I think people should be they want to, but what they want to hear. But at the same time, you have a lot of intellectual snobs out there who think they know everything. And just a week back, they were in a university, and today they think that they know something because they are hosting a show. So you'll have those people. You'll have such people everywhere. So I don't take it that seriously.
Were you referring to a specific university?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm referring to those individuals who end up conducting talk shows, thinking that they know a thing or two, even though they don't know what happened last year. So it has. I think there's always a difference between knowledge and education. Our society puts in a lot of emphasis on education, yet a lot of people don't know what knowledge is all about. The people who, the Googles and the Microsofts, they were made in the garage, didn't or anything. You see, it's not that education isn't important, but I think your top priority.
It's a minor, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, education शुरू कैसी हुई थी? It started off as research. Education was the same thing as research. लेकिन as we got more and more information, education has become the transmission of information. लेकिन I don't really see anyone gaining knowledge. University of Toronto जैसी जगह में, I mean, everyone thinks that developed countries have I mean, हाँ यहाँ education बहुत अच्छी, it's a good system, but I still see that flaw. मतलब हमें खुद सोचने की ट्रेनिंग नहीं दी जा रही होती. Doesn't matter whether you're in Harvard, doesn't matter whether you're in government college. It's the same thing.
खुद सोचने की, that's actually an interesting term. Nobody taught me to think independently. I think if you're curious enough, if you're interested in the world around you, you'll start thinking independently. But at the same time, I think Western civilization, when it started to take shape, they placed a lot of emphasis on knowledge and research, which is why they picked up on all the things that early Muslim scientists
Exactly.
had done.
Yeah.
So you have a civilization that developed on the basis of research, which is why for a good deal of history of mankind they've been ruling the world because to an extent they deserve to. They research, they work hard, but there's this negative side to Western civilization, but that's there in ours as well.
Western civilization is just an object. You can't say that it's good or bad. Yeah, definitely. I mean, going to the moon or this and that was something that we should have done. मतलब मैं Muslims के बारे में मतलब कह रही हूँ ये कि because this was something that our religion allowed. मतलब studying anatomy was started by Muslims क्योंकि we were the only people whose religion allowed that. मतलब obviously when secularism came about तो फिर I mean it is our own fault for sure.
A great deal of it, yeah.
Yeah, a great deal, but not all.
No.
What's not our fault?
Well, sometimes you take the road which leads nowhere, and along the way you have issues and incidents that happen that you couldn't control. Those are independent or separate from what you were doing, and that I don't think the entire Muslim world is to blame for it, but a great deal for what is happening today is due to your own fault. Primarily because if you're 57 countries, I think 57 or 54, and we're still getting our butts kicked, I think it's our own fault. But at the same time, what is wrong in principle is wrong, whether it's in Pakistan or the United States. I mean, there is no excuse for invading Iraq or Afghanistan. So if you're blaming the US for doing those things, then you're not being anti-American or something.
Yeah,
but you're simply giving a perspective. So yeah.
That brings me to a very interesting. मतलब it's interesting कि आपने ये point उठाया क्योंकि I mean in पिछले दिनों में I've been encountering a lot of differing views on this. आधी कौम है, I'm just generally saying, who think that मतलब they're completely anti conspiracy theory. मतलब वो बिल्कुल ये deny कर रहे होते हैं कि I call them US apologists, but I mean उनका ये कहना होता है कि पाकिस्तान पर जो भी मतलब हालात गुजर रहे हैं, it's our own fault, and we shouldn't be pointing out things like Blackwater. We shouldn't be pointing out US interference on our land. We shouldn't be pointing out Indian interference in our land. These are all conspiracy theories, and then I mean you know exactly who would.
I think that's really a very ignorant view of it. I think you need to be balanced in your views as much as possible. I certainly don't believe in blaming everything on the US. However, you cannot deny facts. I mean, you need to be balanced in terms of your arguments. There's one side that thinks that everything that is happening over here is because of the US. There's this other side which believes that everything that is happening over here is because of us. Now, both sides are true to an extent. It's not that you cannot tolerate people in black